On a tranquil road in the heart of Tennessee, two officers prepare for a routine stop, unaware of the powerful woman they are about to encounter. They think it will be an easy encounter, but as they approach, things take a sudden turn. These officers aren't ready for the truth, nor the consequences of their actions. Meet Kara Lawson, a high-ranking federal agent, well known for her work with the Bureau of Narcotics Enforcement, B&E. The arrest that follows not only exposes their corruption, but sets in motion a chain of events that unravels the inner workings of a broken system. This is a tale of manipulation, justice, and retribution that will leave you captivated. The morning in Tennessee arrived with a dense fog, cloaking the sleepy roads. The air was damp and cool, and the asphalt glistened softly under the first light of day. Kara Lawson, dressed casually in a gray hoodie and faded jeans, drove her nondescript sedan along the winding route. Her hair was tucked into a simple bun, the only sign of her role in Washington hidden behind a calm expression. For the past few days, she had been away from the pressures of her high-stakes job, visiting family, playing card games, and enjoying the simple pleasures of home. Her phone was silenced, her mind at ease for the first time in a while. The dashboard read 42 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone, and all was peaceful. Marvin Gaye's soulful tunes softly filled the car as she absent-mindedly tapped the steering wheel. But then she noticed something in her rearview mirror, a police cruiser. It followed her a bit too closely, with an unnerving precision. Without turning on the sirens, the officer flashed the lights, signaling her to pull over. Kara obeyed, easing her car onto the gravel shoulder. She kept her hands on the wheel, maintaining a calm but vigilant posture. The two officers approached. One was a burly, older man, his grizzled face and hardened demeanor betraying a sense of superiority. The second officer, younger and more tense, moved cautiously toward the back of the vehicle, eyeing her every move. Kara's voice remained steady as she greeted them, asking, "Is there a reason for the stop, officers?" The older officer gave a slow scan of her face, his eyes lingering on her hands before he replied, "License and registration." He didn't offer any pleasantries, his tone dry and dismissive. "You were swerving earlier," he added without much conviction. Kara calmly responded, "I didn't notice any swerving," and began reaching for her documents in a deliberate, controlled manner, aware that each action would be scrutinized. As she handed them over, the younger officer, Nate, circled to the back of her car, peering inside with suspicion. The older officer examined her license. "Kara Lawson, visiting family," he muttered, eyeing her with growing curiosity. She nodded without elaborating, but he held her ID for a beat too long before nodding at his partner. "Open the trunk," he ordered. Kara didn't move. "Is that a request or an order?" she asked, her voice calm but firm. Nate tensed, hand near his belt, ready to escalate things. "Got something in there we need to worry about." "I know what's in my trunk," Kara replied evenly, "and I'd like to know the reason for the search." The older officer's patience was wearing thin. "You're not in Washington anymore. You'd better comply now, or things will get more complicated." His words were sharp, but Kara's composure never faltered. She pressed the button to open the trunk, and Nate quickly disappeared to the back. Kara didn't flinch, keeping her gaze steady ahead, her mind calculating the next moves. When Nate returned, he held up a plastic bag with white powder inside. "Looks like you forgot something," he sneered. Kara's gaze was unwavering. "That wasn't in my trunk," she said simply. "Are you sure about that?" Nate taunted, his smirk widening. The older officer leaned in, his breath stale. "You're not in a federal court now. Keep playing this game, and we'll make it miserable for you." With unwavering calm, Kara replied, "I know my rights, and I invoke them. I do not consent to this search. I want legal representation. This is an accusation, and I demand proof." The older officer raised an eyebrow, his tone dripping with contempt. "Oh, now you want a lawyer? You're a real law expert, aren't you?" Kara didn't flinch. "If you were so confident in your arrest, you wouldn't need to mock me. You know this is illegal." The officer stepped closer, his presence looming. "You think you're special, but out here, you follow orders, or things get ugly. Kara stood her ground. Follow the law and call a supervisor. This is a violation of your own policies. A tense silence hung between them, and the officer stepped back, a hard look on his face. Get out of the car, he barked. No, Kara responded firmly. Not without a supervisor present. There's no cause to arrest me, and you're holding evidence that didn't come from my car. This is over. The officer's face twisted in anger. He opened the car door and yanked Kara from her seat, while Nate quickly unbuckled her seatbelt. The two worked in sync, their movements swift and practiced. They didn't inform her of her rights or explain any charges, simply dragging her out of the car, their cuffs biting into her wrists. Kara didn't resist, but remained defiant, her voice steady. This is illegal. I've complied with everything. There's no cause for this. I demand your badge numbers and the name of your supervisor. The officers ignored her and marched her to the patrol car, pushing her with an unsettling indifference. Passers-by slowed their cars, witnessing what appeared to be a routine stop, unaware of the woman's true identity. At the station, the atmosphere was thick with the smell of stale coffee. The desk sergeant nonchalantly filled out the paperwork for possession and obstruction, but when Kara's name was entered into the system, everything shifted. His fingers paused, his eyes scanning the screen as it displayed her official title, Kara Lawson, Director of the Bureau of Narcotics Enforcement. Suddenly, the sergeant's demeanor changed. Ma'am, we didn't know. I'll need to make a call, he stammered. Kara didn't wait. Secure the building, she ordered. Freeze internal access. I want the surveillance records sealed. No one gets in or out without clearance. Within an hour, the B&E team arrived. The two corrupt officers, Maddox and Calloway, were nowhere to be found, but the evidence they'd planted was undeniable. The drug bag contained a federal tracking code, one that linked back to stolen evidence from a secure B&E warehouse. Someone had set up Kara, and it was just the beginning of a deeper conspiracy. The investigation intensified. Records revealed a pattern of racial profiling, with Black and Latino drivers disproportionately targeted. One case, in particular, stood out. Jordan Williams, a young man found dead in police custody, his death ruled a suicide. A bystander's video, never officially acknowledged, showed Maddox and Calloway using excessive force. Kara ordered the case to be reopened, demanding autopsy reports, phone records, and full access to any deaths in custody. Soon after, an anonymous tip revealed that Maddox and Calloway had worked in multiple departments, always close to large drug busts, only for the seized drugs to mysteriously disappear. The officers were shielded by Shadow, a covert system manipulating records and smuggling seized drugs into the black market. Kara's investigation uncovered its deliberate design, not a glitch. The chase led to the Texas desert, where Kara captured Maddox and Calloway, but the mastermind, Marcus Daniels, remained at large. Daniels, a former agent who faked his death, was the architect of Shadow. In a Houston bunker, Kara confronted him, and despite his calm, it was clear the system he built would outlive him. Kara testified before Congress, dismantling corrupt departments. Shadow was destroyed and replaced by ClearPath, a transparent system. As Kara left the hearing, a quiet city began to heal. Justice had arrived through her persistence. How deep does corruption run? What's still hidden?